Lenk.
Thank you. C.J. Doyle?
Yes.
Governor, members of the Executive Council, my name is C.J. Doyle and I'm the Executive Director of the Catholic Action League of Massachusetts. I have two concerns and will be very brief. Our organization is concerned with religious freedom rights. Over the last 2 decades, we've seen numerous violations of religious freedom rights in the form of church invasions, attempted church invasions, repeated attempts to disturb assemblies of worship, attempts to impede the free speech and free exercise rights of St. Patrick's Day parade organizers, and attempts to usurp the right of parents in public schools to control the moral and religious upbringing of their own children. In almost all of these cases, the perpetrators have been activists from within the homosexual community who have sadly not received a single word of condemnation from mainstream homosexual publications and organizations. We'd like to know, therefore, how Judge Lenk feels about these issues. Does she support the Massachusetts courts, or does she support the U.S. Supreme Court in the matter of the St. Patrick's Day parade case? Does she support the right of parents to control, again, the moral upbringing of their own children, or does she believe the state has the right to intrude in matters of AIDS education, sex education, condom distribution, and homosexual programs which affirm homosexual behavior? Does she believe the 1995 Desolates case, in which the SJC held that the state had to have a compelling state interest to overturn religious conscience rights regarding anti-discrimination law? Does she believe that's settled law, or does she dissent from that view? There are a number of issues that we'd like to, that we think the council should raise with Judge Lenk. Our second concern is this: we have one troubling aspect of her record that concerns us. In November 1998, 10 members of our organization filed suit in Suffolk County Superior Court to overturn Mayor Menino's illegal attempt to create domestic partner benefits for city employees through executive order. As plaintiffs, we prevailed with Judge Graybo in Suffolk County Superior Court, and we prevailed also with a unanimous decision written by then Associate Justice Margaret Marshall for the SJC. The only adverse ruling we received was from a single justice of the Court of Appeals who stayed the injunction of the Superior Court, holding that it would create irreparable harm to the benefits of these domestic partner programs. That single justice was Judge Lenk. So the only case that we're aware of which affects the homosexual community, which she took part in, she not only ruled in their favor, but did so in a way that placed her out of step with both the trial court and the Supreme Court. This raises the issue of impartiality in our minds, and it is a concern for us. Judge Lenk's philosophy of indicating that the law is something that evolves, her troubling record in the Connors case, her apparent lack of regard for original intent, and her apparent evident belief that judges have the authority to construct or invent rights unheard of in the history of our civilization, such as the right of two persons of the same gender to contract civil marriage, in our view, makes her an unacceptable risk for the highest court in the Commonwealth. We wonder whether this is an appointment based on political symbolism more than judicial merit. In any event, we wish to be recorded in opposition to the appointment. Thank you.
Okay. Everyone gave us
I do a
I'm sorry. Councilman Yanni?
The public, the citizens of Massachusetts, did elect Governor Patrick. Governor Patrick wants to put judges on the bench who believe in the law as an evolving body of law. Why is that wrong? And why should we interfere with that if that's what the citizens of Massachusetts want?
Well, the question I have for you then, Councilor, is why does your body exist? The whole purpose of your body is to vet
That's
judicial
asked
appointments.
every week in the editorials.
And by the way, I disagree with Governor Dukakis who wanted to abolish this body. By the way, I understand Governor Dukakis has changed his mind about that. Look, we have a perfect right to know what her philosophy is going to be, and this is the court that is the guardian of our constitutional liberties. It's the oldest court in the English-speaking North America. It's the highest court in the Commonwealth. It's a court that's produced justices for the U.S. Supreme Court, such as Oliver Wendell Holmes. I think it's very, very important to know exactly what her views are, whether they are strict construction, whether they believe in original intent, or whether or not they believe that the law can evolve. And of course, if the law can evolve, why is it that it's the unelected branch that evolves it? Why isn't it up to the elected representatives of people in the legislature to evolve the law? But that's our concern. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, hold on.
Sure.
So that's your primary concern then, is the difference between people who believe in strict construction and the power of precedent versus people who believe in the evolving nature of the law. Is that your primary concern?
Well, we have a number of concerns. As I said, we're very concerned about religious freedom issues. We're very concerned about the religious freedom guarantees provided by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, by Article 2 of the Declaration of Rights of the Massachusetts Constitution. And we see them under threat right now. And that threat, if we can speak candidly, is coming from activists in the homosexual community. And we cannot simply dismiss that as the isolated actions of a few extremists who are unrepresentative of a mainstream majority, when again we haven't heard a single word of condemnation from so-called mainstream homosexual organizations. So again, we're concerned about religious freedom rights and how the appointment of Judge Lenk will affect those rights. And again, this is not a 2-year term for state representative. This is an appointment that goes till the age of 70. These judges have an ability to shape and craft law that will endure long beyond their time on the bench. And I think we have every right to explore every aspect of someone's record and someone's thinking.
Well, I do agree with you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
And have you read any of her cases?
I read her decision in the Connors case.
Any other cases?
No, but that's the only one that I'm aware of that deals with this issue.
Well, there were a lot of other issues you would agree with me that a member of the appeals court or the Supreme Judicial Court would agree with.
Yes, and we also know that she stated publicly that she thinks the law ought to evolve, which is generally code language for judicial activism.
Well, historically, certainly there's been a lot of judicial activism that's been used, what you call judicial activism, to enforce people's constitutional rights, civil rights, mainly.
No, actually, most civil rights progress in this country came from Congress and from the legislative branch. And most civil rights progress. I'm sorry.
You read the Brown decision?
Yes, I read the Brown decision, and that's one case where it applied to federal law applied to states. But in terms of actual civil rights legislation, the 1957, 1964, 1968 Civil Rights Acts were all legislative initiatives.
So you don't know what you can glean her political philosophy, glean her philosophy as a judge. If you read some of her decisions, would you agree with it?
Well, we can glean her philosophy by the very fact that she is someone that has accepted same-sex marriage, which apparently holds that judges, again, can invent rights unheard of and unimaginable in the history of our civilization.
I accept same-sex marriages as well.
Well, I mean,
from that perspective, but the my point
we don't.
And I understand that you have the right to come in here and speak, and I'm not. But I also
as offensive as we are.
Right. But you're passing judgment on her based on her sexual orientation only, without looking at.
No, I'm not passing judgment. By the way, if you want to, I'm not the one that's raising her sexual orientation. You are. If you want to, we can raise that and discuss the fact that for most of Western civilization, such conduct was considered moral turpitude. But we're not bringing that up. We're trying to talk a little bit about her record.
You're trying to talk about homosexual organizations.
Can we just give everybody a chance to finish?
I'm all done. I'm done.
Yeah, our concern is her record and her philosophy and what she would want to bench. Thank you, Miller. Thank you.